You don't need anyone else to believe. Only you need to believe. You don't need anyone else to get into what you hold. Only you need to hold. Only you need to know the truth. The path is there for you to walk. Ain't nobody walking for you. That's right. Warriors, Spartans, we on this road alone together. Huddle up together. That's right. We are the strong. We don't need anybody else, but we know there's a lot of people there that know the truth about XRP, XLM, Algorand. Case is almost over. That price is going to skyrocket. So through the hard times, when you see the price going down, crashing, if that bothers you, because it don't bother me at all, hold your head. Hold it up high. Hold your chin up high. Walk with strength and power and be fearless. Be fearless through it all. Don't let them put fear in your heart. Nothing. Approach everything like a lion. Fearless. Be intelligent as well, but be fearless in everything you do. Attack the money. Attack it in your day-to-day business. Attack it in crypto. Expand your business like it's an empire. There's never a limit. Never. You in the gym? Not medical advice. Go harder. You expanding your business? Get more deals. You think you know something about this crypto? Research it a little harder. There's more money to be found. Lions are out. We're hungry. Lions and the sharks. We eating everything up. We're not leaving any leftovers on the plate. Nope, we're scraping the plate. There's no room for the weak. Loosen up my shoulders a little bit. This article here is on Coin Edition, and it goes as such. On September 12th, Annalisa Torres, the presiding judge in the Ripple XRP versus Securities and Exchange Commission lawsuit, gave the nod to the concerned parties to file all materials relating to the summary judgment motions. The ongoing feud between the regulatory watchdog, SEC, and Ripple Labs continues to create headlines. On September the 9th, Ripple and SEC confirmed a joint proposal governing the sealing issues. Defense lawyer James K. Fallon shared detailed motions for the summary judgment on Twitter. Notably, a negotiation process will soon begin in which lawyers for XRP and the SEC will discuss and edit the briefs. The filing procedure is expected to go on until the end of 2022. And we've heard before that maybe this case might end somewhere within the first quarter of 2023. And when that happens, there's a possibility all that institutional money on the side could come in like a flood. And that price might skyrocket. Oh, it feels so good to be that close, to reach out and almost have it. I'm hungry for it. I've been hungry a long time. And when XRP takes off, XLM will also take off. But all the bank coins benefit. So close to regulatory clarity. And Ripple has only been stepping up what it's doing. No. We don't need others to believe. I'm not here to convince anyone. Let's go on to this next article here. Ripple.com. This is from Ripple X. Debunking the myths of what is the XRPL. Let's read this a little bit here. New XRP can be added. This is a myth. New XRP can be added to the ledger. According to this myth, a single authority can make unilateral changes to the fundamental underlying code, which leaves the ledger open to hackers who could create new XRP. Truth, even if a bad actor attempted to add unauthorized XRP to the ledger, the consensus protocol ensures no single authority can execute on this. More than 66 million ledgers have been successfully closed since the XRP ledger was first conceived, with 100 billion XRP created at the inception of the ledger. And no additional XRP has ever been added into the system. Also, let me add on to that. There's not enough XRP to go around for everything that they're trying to do. It will be rare. Also, let me say this. The banking industry is in trouble. They're in big trouble. I posted a video in the members only section. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch that, you don't really have to watch it. You could just listen to it. Okay? It wasn't a video by myself, but it's a very important video that you should definitely give a listen to. There's a lot coming. You need to prepare yourself. Remember, when times get hard, hold your head. If times get hard, hold your head up high, walk with strength. Head over to that members only section, click that little join button. Even if you're on a treadmill or you're on the way to work or something like that, you can just give that video a listen. You just need to hear what they're talking about. The banking industry is in big trouble. And we have what they need. I keep saying it. We do. They need the liquidity we provide. They need the security. They need a way. They need so many different things. But like I said, it's up to you to know that. You'll know what you hold and the importance of XRP, the importance of Algorand, all the bank coins. That new financial system is going to save them. If they don't implement it fast, they're going to try a Hail Mary soon. We're going to see if it works. Like I said, if you watch that video, if you listen to that video, you're going to know what I'm talking about. And if you have been following what we've been covering in the members only section for quite some time, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But they're going to try a Hail Mary. And if it doesn't work, my goodness, the world, hear this well, the world is in trouble, big time. They messed up. The banking system messed up very, very bad. They didn't know what they were doing. Or they did, and this is on purpose, one or the other. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I can only tell you what you need to hear. Let's go on this next article here. Race to exchange. This is from Ripple.com and it's titled Insights, Race to Exchange. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, as the world of crypto and TradeFi blends and crypto grows in importance as a vehicle for global value transfers and fiat itself gets represented by digital avatars, be it stablecoins or central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, the race to be the orchestrators of the global financial network has begun. Listen to that. Why would they say that if they're talking about the banks? They're not talking about the banks. Whoever controls the flow, whoever controls the agnostic bridge currencies controls everything. Just the same way that whoever controls the food sources, the farms, the water controls everything. Sure, you can be a president, you can be a governor, but if I control your food and your water, I control everything. I say what goes on with that. People have to understand the control of resources, the control of commodities is power. Ripple's talking about itself, the new financial system, Ripple, Algorand, Stellar, Hedera. If they control the flow of the money, being agnostic bridge currencies or liquidity providers, whatever, they become a supervisory entity. I've been saying this for a year. I have another theory, actually. I might make that a members only video, but I have a theory based on some things that I heard recently from the banks themselves. We'll see if I make that. I need a few more pieces of information before I make that one, because it's going to go deep. It says the race to be the orchestrators of the global financial network has begun. By being crypto native, exchanges are taking the lead in this race. I want to stop there. Listen, I'm trying not to give a whole lot away, but if you see what's happening with some exchanges, I'm going to throw this one out there. Okay. You see what happened with Kraken? What is Kraken? Kraken is a bank now, right? Correct? All right. Okay. It's all about compliance and regulations, correct? Okay, so we got this here. We're going to add a component. Now let's add another variable. And I hate to even mention this one. What's happening with LCX right now? What's happening with LCX? They're trying to become what? LCX exchange. They're trying to become a bank. Do you see the pattern? The people don't see it coming. That's okay. Only a few of us are going to reach that generational wealth. but the wise can see. Their peepers are open. They're peeping. Where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers, creepers, generational wealth. Do you see a pattern? And they're just exchanges. It only takes 10 million. We went over this before. My people on this channel have gotten a lot of good information over the last year. We've been here on this channel a little bit more than a year now. It only takes $10 million to start a bank. That's not a lot of money at all. You mean to tell me that? Well, we'll save that for another time. But you see where we're going, don't you? The world is about to change. And the people, they're not ready for it. They're not prepared. And they want so badly to believe in this old system. They want so badly to believe, you know, in their false kings and queens and gods, you know, which is the governments pretty much, because the people worship them like that. They do. They don't want to let go. They believe that the governments know the way and they don't. The banks know the way and they don't. They've been brainwashed. I hate to say it, it's true, because their system is failing right before everybody's eyes. And it's as though people can't see it. Liquidity crisis already has been trickles of it. It's already here, really. The illusion of liquidity is here. And they're keeping the people distracted, bread and circus, just like in ancient Rome. Put on the sports, put on the TV, and distracting the people from what's really going on. Let's continue on here. It says, by being crypto native, exchanges are taking the lead in this race, and they will hold on to it unless traditional financial institutions, look how they phrase this, unless traditional financial institutions accelerate their efforts and claim the title. Exactly what I just said. Like I said, the orchestrators don't have to, in the end, become the traditional financial institutions. So then who would it be? And yet so many people are still so, you know, solidified in that stance that no, the banks could never be overtaken. Every empire falls. Every system fails or is usurped by a superior system. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything has its cycles. History oftentimes repeats itself, and if it doesn't, it definitely rhymes. How many different ways I have to say it? This stuff happens over and over and over again. Like humanity is stuck in a time loop. It just slight variations in how everything happens, but there is always a necessary rising and falling in life. That is law. Birth, growth, decadence, death. This is law. Everyone who is in the depth knows this. Traditionally, banks have been trusted institutions that consumers use to manage their accounts. That's going to stop. You think people trust the banks? The banks have recently been freezing people's accounts. The banks, they can't even give you your money. Unless you're going in there for some small money, you're going in for big money. They don't have it. Why? Let's go into that very quickly. They don't have it because they're increasing interest rates. They're holding reserves. Where do those reserves come from? It comes from your money. So they're lending out your money. Then they have to also take a percentage of your money to keep in reserves. Why? To give the reserves to the central bank, who's just feeding off of everybody's money. So yeah, sure, they print money. Sure, they might give you a stimulus check, and a lot of people are going to do what with that money? Both with the stimulus money that they put out, and they're probably going to have to print more because they're doing so poorly, and they're going to have to crush the economies. They already have begun. They have to. In order to raise that, look, the CPI data was horrible. They're going to have to raise interest rates. If you raise interest rates, people are going to lose their jobs. You're going to crush the economy. Markets are going to tank. So I said this before. I thought it should have been 75 basis points. In my humble opinion, all along, 100 basis points. Rip the Band-Aid off quickly. But the Fed was so cowardly, they didn't want to do it. So now that CPI data is absolutely terrible. Now there's rumblings they may have to raise it 75 or 100 basis points, which is going to do what? The people are not prepared for this. It's going to crush them. Which means Anybody who knows this can prepare ahead of time, especially if you have some quick money out there. Any long money plays, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. But like quick money plays, a lot of people are making quick money plays, stock market, crypto. So banks are doing terribly, but let's continue on here. Is people still going to believe in the banks? They're still going to have these accounts, and the banks are going to freeze your money. At some point, they can freeze your money anytime they want. Heck, if you say the wrong things, they can freeze your money out. If they don't like you, they can freeze your money out. We see that happen to popular people recently, right? They can just stop your money, your cash flow, because you're trusting your wealth in the traditional systems instead of operating outside of the matrix and taking control over your value yourself. But to each his own. It says, though exchanges have jumped ahead, traditional financial institutions have some strong advantages. They also have a whole lot of liabilities. They also have a lot of negatives, a lot of weaknesses. And you and I both know that. But I understand Ripple, you have to be polite to them. You have to be nice to them. I get it. Continue to do that because we want all of that money. So yeah, I'm not against it. It says, and should leverage to outpace their new competitors. That won't happen. You and I both know that. They're going to need it. They're going to need us for the boost. That's why they haven't beaten us yet. What happened to Swift? Wasn't Swift supposed to be developing some system? Oh, Swift is going to beat us. That's what everyone said. Swift is going to come up with a system to compete against the XRP. XRP is going to be worthless. XLM. They haven't done anything. Nothing. Proof is in the pudding there. Let me have a taste. Tastes like Swift has nothing. Bland. While we over here, we have sugar in our pudding, raisins. Heck, throw the pudding away. We have bean pie. Yeah, a lot of y'all never had some good bean pie. Ooh, especially if you get that chocolate bean pie. Oh man, you'll fall in love. Heat it up in the oven, get some warm chocolate bean pie. Oh, best pie on earth. But anyway, I have too much fun talking to everybody out there. Traditionally, let's continue on here. Governments rely on banks. Look how they phrase it. They're exposing everything here. It's like they're conveying the information they're supposed to, but they're also telling a lot. They're exposing a lot. Governments rely on banks. Shouldn't it be the other way around? You see how that works? That's a problem. Banks don't have a vested interest in the people, but governments, at least in the United States, allegedly, right, they're supposed to have a vested interest in the people who elected them, but they can't. If you're controlled by the banks, then you are beholden to the banks. I mean, we all know that, but there's a lot of new people coming in. They don't know that. They don't. They're coming right out of the matrix, pop right out of a pod. Tube came right out their neck like Neo, and we have to show them the desert of the real. Governments rely on banks to propagate central bank monetary policies. The explicit and implicit government guarantees allow consumers to trust their banks wholeheartedly. Let's continue on. That is unbelievable. They can even say such a thing, even if they have to pay a hefty fee for it. Yeah. With each country, especially in emerging markets, being more or less an economic walled garden, when it comes to cross-border money flows, governments made banks the entry points for capital flows via regulations and licenses. Well, also they needed the loans from the IMF, who uses it to control everybody like a dictatorship. You can't do anything for your country the way you want to do it, because the IMF is going to come in and say, no, you can't do that. Remember with the Bitcoin in El Salvador? Love my Salvadoran people, by the way. Some of my best friends growing up were Salvadoran. I was eating lots of pupusa, lots of tamale. Oh yeah, I was eating all that Salvadoran food. Boxing with my Salvadoran brothers. But look what they said in El Salvador, right? No, you can't use Bitcoin. Salvador was like, what? We're going to use Bitcoin. Yeah, because they fighters in El Salvador. They're fighters over there. Tough. I'm glad they did that. But see, the IMF comes in, these banks come in, and they offer you loans and here, we're going to help you. It's not really help the way you think it is. It's a hook on there. That's bait. So This is why a lot of the so-called developing countries are starting to break out of that. They want to be free. They want to do things their way, take a chance and see how it is if we do it on our own. There's a new system in town. And that's why the banks are afraid. Hear me well. They're afraid. They're not so tough. They're not so strong. They were the bullies on the block. And now there's a new kid on the block. Distributed ledger technologies. And they are afraid. Good. Let them shake. Let them quiver. And that's going to make them hand over their money because they want to survive. It's not about them going away completely, but sometimes you hit a bully one time in the mouth, boom, you hit them one time. I'm telling you, their whole attitude changes. And that's what's happening right now. The banks are getting hit in the mouth. They're getting a double leg takedown for the first time, flying in the air, landing on their back. You know how it is. Side headlock. It shakes you up. Your heart starts pumping. You see death for a minute, right? And in that moment, changes happen. Now, sometimes the bully backs down. Sometimes they want to be a friend afterwards. I didn't really mean it. So they're forced to congeal with the new financial system. This is a little bit of a different video, but my energy is different all the time. I give you the energy that's right here. Genuine, 100%. So sometimes I joke. Sometimes I'm more serious. Sometimes I'm more intellectual. Sometimes I'm like this here. I have to give it to you the way that it's coming out of me. Yeah, we're going to take all their money. Hold your head through the hard times. They are, I believe they're collapsing the systems. Either that or they just messed everything up. So the systems are collapsing as a whole. And, the people that make generational wealth are going to be able to escape. That's what's important. People are not, it's not just about the wealth. It's about freedom. I keep saying that. And the people aren't grasping it. Especially maxis of other cryptos and such, they don't get it because they're still stuck in the matrix. They think it's just about money, and they're still so heavily involved in it. It's so funny to me. They're still heavily involved in the traditional systems of all kinds, not seeing that the traditional systems of all kinds are going away. Everything is being replaced slowly. And in the future, people are going to have less of a choice over everything unless you have the capital and the value to separate yourself and free yourself, move where you want to move. And people will have that type of, if we achieve generational wealth, you will have that freedom. There will be people who will be buying private islands, a good amount of land. Like they'll be able to escape that system. They'll be able to buy their own water filtration systems, have their own farms, little farmland, cows, goats, such like that in different countries, so they can move around freely. Little private jet, nothing major, little private jet so you can go here and there. They'll be able to do that. But also they'll have the mentality to do it because they already learned early on how to operate outside of the traditional systems. Most people don't know that. They're only operating within the traditional system. So a lot of people, they make their money in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're still involved heavily in all the traditional systems. Which means when the collapse happens, even though you dealt in something that's allegedly decentralized, you're still going to feel the brunt of that collapse. So then what was it worth? So it says, unfortunately, the flow of funds across international borders has struggled to modernize alongside the rapid pace of globalization. Smaller businesses in the Latin American region have been particularly burdened with the challenges associated with expansion, particularly around opening and managing treasury accounts in other countries. Liquidity is vital to the success and development of a business, but the current methodology of sourcing liquidity to open new treasury accounts is a heavy toll on smaller enterprises. Well, Quant speaks a lot about the tokenization of everything, aiding in the building of startups and smaller enterprises and such like that. Look, this new financial system is going to be the one shot everybody has when it kicks off. Everybody has to start their businesses, build something, an app, a DApp, a MDApp that can make them a ton of money. trade in, not trade, but like invest in these cryptos while they're very, very low priced and get a ton of them. So that then when they explode, you make a ton of money. This is the only chance that people are going to get. This is it. This is it. And with the regulatory clarity around the corner, most other cryptos are going to get eliminated. And then the bank coins are going to explode in price. This is it. And not only that, if you have a traditional business, you can start instituting the new systems, Hashgraph, blockchain, to improve your business now. You can implement those now. Save yourself a ton of money now. Some people don't want to do that. They don't want to put in the work. There's nothing we can do about that. This is for the strong. Only the strong are going to make it. Only a handful are going to make it. It's always that way. Every changing of the age, only a handful make it. There's not a lot of us. That's another thing. Just remember that. There's not a lot of us. And they can't stop us. We're in already. We're in the door. Let's go on to this next article here. This article is on coinedition.com. I like to cover things like this. US dollar surge causes pressure on crypto. The US dollar is in major trouble. I said this. The West is in trouble in every way possible. Every way possible. They're against their farmers, right? They don't want their farmers producing, like, having a certain amount of cows. You're going to hear about that. You're going to hear about it. A lot of protests are happening in other countries. Mainstream media is not covering it because they don't want them having a certain amount of cows because of certain gases and such like this. So then the farmers are on protest, which obviously means if you can't have all these cows, well, then you're not going to have enough meat, which means you have to have another food source. So they're forcing the people to choose a different food source. So you have that. Then you have a coal shortage because you have these so-called wars and geographical issues. So then you have a coal shortage. So they had rolling blackouts in a lot of places. Also, media didn't talk about that. Rolling blackouts all across the West. They have a war, the so-called war going on with those other countries over there, right? So then the main country involved, one of the main countries says, hey, we're not going to give gas to Europe. Okay, so then Europe is in for a cold winter. So then you have that type of issue. Their government has no answers at all. The people are in trouble. The West is in trouble. So then the United States says, okay, well, maybe we can give some of our reserves, oil reserves and such like that to Europe. They were already selling the oil. I think they were selling them. Well, they were already selling the oil to other places. Okay, let's put it that way, to help them out. So the reserves that the United States have is heavily limited. And then on top of that, they shut down a whole lot of the pipelines that could have helped in this situation. But because of their certain policies, then they had to shut those particular pipelines down. So then you can't have extra. Then you can't produce extra because then you would be a hypocrite. Even if you didn't have those pipelines, you just use what you have. If you produce extra, then you will be considered a hypocrite as a governmental official at this particular time. So then you can't produce extra. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. The West is in trouble. I see what's going on. So you have to protect it. Look, I look at life like it's boxing. My father taught me boxing early on in life. And he told me, keep your eye on your opponent and protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times. He'll make you put that high guard up, that peekaboo. You go in the backyard. That's right. Put the boxing gloves on, your heart pounding. He'll throw a couple at you. Let you feel it. That's right. Protect yourself at all. We learned that early on. Keep your chin down, by the way. Keep your chin down, guard up. I look at life like that. Protect myself at all times. Protect yourself at all times. It don't matter where you are. I'm ready to go at the drop of a hat. I don't play any games at all. Neither does my brother or neither does my sister. My whole family, we think like that. So in business, we think like that. When we're playing games, we think like that. Protect yourself at all times. In this economy, think of it like boxing. Protect yourself at all times. You understand? You could do otherwise, but I think it would be unwise. because danger is near. Take precautionary measures. That's what I would do. Now, let's continue on here, everyone out there. I appreciate everyone being here, listening to me. A little bit of a different video, a little different energy. Tomorrow will be different as well. Got to keep it fresh around here. Okay, so the article. U.S. dollar surge causes pressure on crypto yields. The rising trend in the value of the U.S. dollar against other major currencies as a result of the Federal Reserve's interest rate hike is raising the alarm about its effect on the global financial system, as well as the macroeconomic conditions that are putting pressure on crypto yields, with digital asset yields tanking. The downfall of crypto hedge funds and lending players has also contributed to the negative sentiment towards crypto lending. As a result, yields and volumes, let me pause right there. Do you know how many inside things the legacy system can do to collapse things like like all of these crypto companies? You think they didn't take measures, looking at them as moving a little too fast and being a threat? They've said that outwardly. You think they can't take certain actions to collapse these people, or have taken actions to collapse these people? Come on now. Come on. But, you know, this is the game that they play. They believe they're playing some sort of 5D chess. It's quite elementary in my humble opinion. It's easy to see once you know how these certain entities work. According to a recent Bloomberg report, crypto yields have fallen below what the U.S. government pays for 3 months borrowing, giving hedge funds that have flocked to the digital space even less reason to continue investing. Doesn't matter if they do or not. It really doesn't. Let them stay out. Let them miss out. I have no love for them. I have no mercy for them. This is not for the weak. So be it. Stay in the stock market and continue to plague them. Right? The banks will step in sooner or later. Sooner rather than later when it comes to the bank coins. Okay. The banks will step in. They'll take over the new financial system. Those prices will explode because of liquidity, because of agnostic bridge currency use cases and such like that. And then the people who are holding the bank coins, in my humble opinion, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to be. But the people holding the bank coins will be rich beyond measure, wealthy beyond measure. And then it's up to them what they do with their fate. That's it. That's it. The total value locked in DeFi platforms reflects the current value of the assets and is an important indicator of investor interest in yield generating DeFi assets. According to DeFi Llama data, the TVL dropped to $60 billion from a high of $182 billion in December last year. Like I said, new financial system is on its way. The entirety of the world is reeling in pain from what the governments and what the central banks have done. I didn't ask them to do it. They did it themselves. Look at their monetary policy. Look at what they've done. Look how they live and look how the rest of the people live. They're giving themselves fat paychecks while everybody else is struggling. They have... They protect themselves at all times, telling people not to protect themselves. They live with fences around their places. Hey, you don't have no fences, right? They live in clean neighborhoods. Everybody else, they got to live in dirty neighborhoods. I'm talking about the bulk of the people around the world, right? It's all hypocrisy. It's this dichotomy. There's a shift happening. It's just a matter of who wants to take part in the shift. Only a handful of people are going to make it, in my humble opinion. Just a tiny bit of people. They will be the new 1%. They will be able to come and go as they please, do whatever they please. They never needed anybody to believe in them. They never needed anybody to do something for them. And those people that were around them at those times will have great regrets that they did not support them, that they did not support them in their efforts, that they did not support them in their going towards freedom. They're breaking free of traditional mind states. They're breaking free of traditional systems that enslaved them, that never helped them, that never cared about them. This is across the board. It doesn't matter who you are, from the bottom to the top. The systems never cared about these particular people. But the people around you, I know they just, because of school and, you know, certain types of parenting at times, and they just wash your mind and believe in the systems, even though the systems failed everybody. But the people who broke free, who started their small businesses, who invested in the stock market and certain stocks, who invested in crypto and such like that, they broke free. They found the door. Without the key maker, they found the door. And they went through the door. And they've been living a glorious life. They understand that life is risky all around. that there is inaction in action. There's action in inaction. They chose to take action and not sit idle. So they took action, and now it's paying off for them. And bravely they go forward, and fearlessly they go forward. The day is almost there. The night might be long, but those who have heart, those who are tough, those who are strong, they make it through the night. Those who are strong, those who have heart, they make it through the fight. Those who have heart, those who are lions. It doesn't matter who you are from top to the bottom. If you're a lion, it doesn't matter who you are, male, female, doesn't matter. If you have the heart of a lion, you will make it through the war, and you will see the glorious light of day. You will live forever. In here and in here, you will live forever. You will see heights and glory that they could never see. They didn't have it. They made it some of the way, but you will make it all of the way. And anything you want to do, anywhere you want to go, they can't stop you. Don't let them. Don't let them. I don't care who they are. Don't let them stop you. Don't let them doubt you. Don't let them cast their negativity on you. Keep going forward just a little bit more. Keep going forward. One more step, one more rep, one more deal, one more sale. You define your limitations, and you can say that you have no limitations. They cannot bound you. They cannot limit you. Take your destiny into your own hands. Mental transmutation. You can take the negative and make it into a positive. You can take those negative thoughts and you can change it. The true alchemy is here. The true alchemy is here. I'm giving it to you. This wisdom. Most will never know that. They're searching for rocks out of the ground, gold and silver, worthless trash, tools. That's it. Fiat, rocks, gold, just tools. Use the tools as you see fit to benefit yourself. But the true change, the true alchemy is here. The true power is here. The next level is found here. So develop this. Develop this. You can change one thought into another, one energy into another. It is power beyond measure. And let me tell you something else. The person who actually takes control of this here and knows the power of the change that happens there is grasping the scepter of power. I just scare some people. I gave you, you know how long it takes to acquire what I just gave you for most people? This is not neophyte information. Let's continue on here. This is going to be a long one. I'm relaxing with everybody right now. I'm just, whatever comes out, I'm just giving it to you. Oh, man. How many different types of energies have we had on this show? This is an article from cryptonomist.ch. Once again, I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you for being here with me in these moments. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, when's going to be your last day on earth. So I'm appreciative every single time I get to be in front of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming, writing comments, clicking the like button. I appreciate you. I do. I really, really do. More than you could ever know. A lot of things, life makes you appreciate people. When certain things happen in your life, life makes you appreciate people. It does. And your time with them. Here's an article on Cryptonomist. It's titled, Russia News Crypto Payments Regulation. For this reason, it says Russia prioritizing crypto regulation. For this reason, crypto regulation should be a priority so that these kind of payments are made possible, which in theory are expected to start from 2023 in Russia. We already know, we've heard from a bevy of sources that certain crypto, wink, 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 XRP, maybe XRP. I don't know. I have something in my throat. Maybe XRP. I think I cleared it up. But certain crypto may have been tested by Russia. So this could be interesting. And in decentralization, anybody can use crypto assets. They don't have to use it through that company. They don't have to use it through those particular companies. Decentralized. Anybody can pick it up and use it. To say otherwise is to concede that it's not decentralized, correct? All right, let's go. Let's read this little quote here. Quote, As for the regulation of the cryptocurrency market, the difference in approaches has remained. But I can say that the central bank has also rethought the approach, taking into account the fact that the situation has changed and we are rethinking it because the infrastructure that we plan to create is too rigid. Too rigid. This is a problem with all of the legacy system offerings. They're too rigid. Russia's telling it all. But let's continue on here. Too rigid for the use of cryptocurrencies in cross-border settlements, which of course we must first of all legalize somehow. So here you go. There you go. And they're going to need that interoperability because a lot of the BRICS nations that are going to be down in Latin America are going to be using crypto as well. You already see it. You see it happening with Ripple. You see it happening with Stellar down there. You definitely see it with Algorand. Coinbase is all over the place. Algorand has been deep there for a long time. Cello is there. Then also in Africa, Stellar is in Africa. Algorand is in Africa. I believe Ripple. Did we cover an article recently where Ripple was doing some things in Africa? Cardano is also in Africa. So a lot of these different countries and regions will be utilizing crypto for all of their payments, not just cross-border. That sounds nice. They don't want to frighten the system, but I don't care. Frighten the system. It's going to be used for everything. That's why they have payroll on it. Payroll, tokenization of real estate. They have real estate already they're trying to roll out on there. You have Ripple doing traceability and adjudication down in with Colombia. They're going to do everything. Let's continue on here. So this was a tweet from Quant. I like to keep up with what Quant is doing. It's going to explode easier and faster and bigger than most because of its utility, because of how many banks stand to use it, because of its circulating supply being much lower than Bitcoin. So if people love Bitcoin, why would you think Quant would not equally skyrocket considering who they're involved with? And with Bitcoin, it's where it is, even though you do have some institutional investors in Bitcoin. You don't have a whole heap of banks lined up to use Bitcoin, but you do have them lined up to use Quant. And Quant has a lower circulating supply. That utility is going to guarantee that it has a very high transaction volume and a high transaction value. Where does that price go? All throughout these bloody months, these red months in the crypto sphere, you've seen Quant do very, very well. It went down to 40. People picked up a ton of Quant. I like to continue to say that. Now it's been floating around around $100. We'll just say it like that. It's been around $100, a little bit above, a little bit below. And that's still a steal. That's a steal. There's not a lot of Quant to go around. You can do a little search on YouTube and type in Quant supply or something like that. You're going to find some videos. There's some very, very good people that specialize in covering Quant. It'll let you know there's not a lot of Quant to go around, all right, per person. Only a few people are gonna experience this wealth surge from Quant, and I believe 100% it will happen. In my humble opinion, it's one of the absolute most undervalued. It's the most underestimated. I'll say that underestimated coins out there. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says, startups that have scale potential, mostly tech, healthcare, and consumer firms. We see, Algorand going into healthcare, usually raise venture capital to help them do just that. Whilst examples of firms that become household names purely on the back of bootstrapping of revenue generation do exist. MailChimp comes to mind. They're rare. Startups trying to raise money from VCs right now are in something of a quandary, however. Public equity markets have endured a difficult first half of 2022, with the S&P falling approximately 20% through the end of June. One knock-on effect of this in venture capital circles is that valuations of potential and existing portfolio companies have become much more difficult to get right. And commentators are warning startups that they are going to be in for a tough time raising follow-on money, whilst the outlook for public markets remains uncertain. So this is true. As I said before, if you haven't watched that video that I just posted in the members only section, definitely do that. Scroll over to, you have to go to my channel. I think it's still in beta mode. This is what YouTube says, and go over to the communities tab, or maybe now they did an update. So maybe there's a members only section separate from the community tab. I'm not sure how that works, but you'll see it somewhere around there, and then just scroll down on the community tab or the members only section tab, and you will see that video there. And so, because of what the governments have done, the central banks have done with inflation, with interest rate hikes and such like that, with reserves, is a complicated little web they have going on there. Because of that, it's going to be very difficult in the future times for banks. It could be, like I said, they're going to try Hail Mary, but it could be quite difficult for them to be issuing loans, of course, right? So when they're crushing the economy, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to start issuing loans, especially knowing that most people, if there's going to be a bevy of a massive amount of job losses, people may not be, and companies may not be able to pay those loans back if they're not able to bring in enough workers, if they're not able to produce enough product or something like that. Like, it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of reasons why money might not be able to be raised. So not just loans, but there's going to be a lot of investors and you know, investment companies and such like that are not going to want to invest in certain things. They're going to be very, very careful with their capital, very careful, and logically so, in my humble opinion. Now, I could be completely wrong, and someone else could be quite more eloquent. I'm sure they're going to post something down in the comment section, and you know, we have a lot of great subscribers here that have a ton of knowledge. They're doing a great job, and they share willingly. So I'm sure if someone has something more to add to that, they definitely will add it in the comment section down below. So we're going to stop there. I had a few more articles, but I had a little too much fun. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.